Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for tuning back in. Glad you can make it. Hopefully, you guys are doing good and having a great day. We're talking about PTSD today, um, and hopefully, I can give you guys some insight and some practical information that you could use to help you deal with yours. Uh, as you guys know, for those of you who have been with me for a while now, or those of you who are new, I do struggle with PTSD, and it is from my time in service. Um, as a sentry, um, that I've always had to deal with this anxiety of anticipating any kind of attack from any direction at any point in time. And going from Korea in 2017 when tensions were very, very high between the U.S. and North Korea, to going over to Germany, when tensions were rising with Iran, and then with Russia, and then also uh, dealing with the deployment as well. Now, I was actually switched um, when it came to my deployment. I was supposed to deploy to Africa, and I didn't. My unit deployment manager had pulled me off of it last second, and instead I went to Sicily, Italy. Now, you may think that it was a vacation, and compared to Africa, yes, it was a vacation, absolutely. Um, but one thing that I can't help but think of a lot is the fact that I was switched with someone that was there and a friend of mine even, and she did and saw things that she wish she hadn't, and I really hate that fact. I really hate that uh, it wasn't me, because uh, I it's not necessarily guilt that I feel, but it is it's I should have been there, you know. I should have been that person that was doing all of that instead of her, you know. She shouldn't have taken my place. Um, and so that lives with me for even till this day. Um, and then there was an incident in Korea that I thought I was getting into combat. Thankfully, it turned out to just be a couple of Korean hunters that were in the area, and it just kind of turned into an incident. But in the moment, um, when I'm hearing things going over the net, and people saying that, um, or excuse me, a buddy of mine that was in the defensive fighting position right next to me, was saying that he was seeing Koreans on the outside the wire, outside the fence line, and I just hear exchanging of fire. I'm thinking, oh shit, things are getting real, and I don't have a firearm essentially, right? The only thing that we had were BFAs, or they were um, um, blank adapters, and so um, essentially didn't have any real weapons. So, I was scared shitless. I really was, especially when I thought I was getting into combat at that point in time. Um, but all of this cultivation really brings together, um, and then coupled with quite a few things that I saw that I wish I hadn't. Um, it it really leaves a lasting effect on you, and then you also have the fact of, um, or excuse me, how I was treated the last year in. um, with my leadership failing me, uh, by not getting my back on the, um, I should say the military itself failing its troops, by trying to force them to take a vaccination that has no basis when it comes to how healthy it is, um, and or force them to take something that they don't believe to that they don't believe in the first place. Um, and I mean, I always find myself looking over my shoulder every few minutes or every few seconds sometimes. Um, I sounds really freak me out sometimes. I really hate um, fireworks season because um, sometimes sometimes it really startles me, really freaks me out because I hear a pop and I'm thinking, oh shit, things are going down. I need to I need to figure out what's going on. Uh, and I think there was a time when I did hear something. I think it was later on in the night, probably about like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I'm up and I'm going through the house. I'm scanning the house, and I'm actually doing a perimeter check of the house, and then outside, just to make sure that everything's good. Um, and so when you have such a heightened awareness, um, and when you're easily startled. Matter of fact, there's actually another story when I was trying to take a nap. This is why I can't take naps anymore. When I mean, it's one of the reasons, but mainly because my body just doesn't let me rest at all. And anyways, there was a day that I was trying to take a nap, and I was just in between um, um, being awake and sleeping, and the same thing happened. Fireworks season. I had her pop, and I almost had a heart attack. Um, I jolted awake. I was so wired. My heart was racing. I was literally shaking. Um, and I thought some things were actually going down. Um, and it took me a little bit to calm down. I actually had to call one of my buddies who I served with in Korea at the time, and I was talking with him for a little bit. But the number one question I find myself asking other people and other veterans specifically, um, but is how do you deal with yours? Because uh, I get into a lot of different things, a lot of different things, um, and things that do help me. But no matter what I seem to get into, I can't really seem to overcome it. Um, but then again, when it comes to stuff like this, I don't know if that's something that will ever be overcome. Um, but oh, some things that I can try to give you guys some ideas on are, playing music. I really enjoy playing music. It's something that keeps me calm, something that brings me joy, right? Kind of a it's something that does kind of provide a safe haven. I think there might have been maybe a car door that shut pretty loud one night, and I think I was like, okay, cool, that's completely fine. And this was while I was playing music, and I think that was able to become a pretty good coping mechanism for me. But another thing that I really enjoyed doing was building Gunpla, which is like little model kits of like robots. Um, I don't really find interest in them anymore. Um, There are some days where I'm like, you know what, that sounds pretty cool. Let's go ahead and sit down and do some stuff like that, and then I just lose interest. Um, I don't know why. Something that I really used to enjoy, and I just don't really enjoy doing it anymore. Um, just can't really find the motivation to find the joy in it anymore. Uh, Maybe that's a part of it. I don't know, but um, another thing too is, I'll sit down and I'll make my dioramas that I make on the channel, um, and that really helps. There was a situation a little bit ago where a storm was coming through and a pretty loud clash of thunder hit, um, and I was literally shaking. But I was working on something at the time, and I understood that it was just thunder, and um, I was able to keep my hands steady, and so that, in a sense, made me feel as though everything was all right. I was good. Um, and before I can get into a little bit more stuff about practical stuff, I kind of want to tell you guys how this really affects people, because it's not just veterans that experience PTSD. Um, but you feel isolated. You really do, because there's not a lot of people that really understand the things that you are going through, and that's the harmful thing about it, is when people don't understand. Because there are certain times and perhaps certain things that just trigger us, right? Um, and maybe from personal experience, maybe it's a dog that's disobeying, or maybe it's uh, someone who has attacked my dog before. Not someone, but some another dog who has attacked her twice. Um, that I was almost hyperventilating. Um, and then maybe it's confrontation, right? Maybe you're having an argument with someone, and you feel as though you're having a panic attack almost. Um, and you find yourself reacting in such a way. Maybe it's shutting down, or maybe it's becoming very aggressive. Um, and like I said, it could be anything, right? Something you may not even recognize that reminds you of a specific situation that you had been through, that really triggers that instinctual response that has actually developed, um, because as a defense mechanism, right? Um, and so people naturally just think that you're unhinged. Uh, People think that you're, some sort of monster. You're some sort of um, ill-mannered, aggressive brute who, doesn't care about anybody. But you know, a lot of the times, these people haven't been through the things that you know we have. And so, another thing that I want to do is kind of spread awareness, especially for veterans who suffer from PTSD, that it's not a choice, right? That we just happen to lose our shit. It's just a reaction that we have. It's just a reaction that we have. Um, it's not something that we choose to do maliciously. Um, and after we all calm down and we think back, the this is the killer, really, when it comes to PTSD, is that some of the things that you happen to do, um, when you finally have a clear head, you almost begin to hate yourself because of the actions that you took. Um, while you're not necessarily in your right head, at the time you're just reacting. um, you're still kind of seeing everything almost from a third person view, and uh it's just it's not you. You know, it's not you, it's whatever is just taking over in the moment. And when you recognize that other person that's in you, um I think and that itself is something that you begin to hate. But an identity within yourself that you attach to yourself, if that makes sense. um and that's what really sends people into a depression. And unfortunately, way too many veterans are unaliving themselves. Way too many, man. And speaking of that, today's Memorial Day, so make sure you guys are appreciating, those who have fallen and haven't come back to us. Um, but and always keep them in your memories, man. They never die unless they're forgotten. No one dies unless they're forgotten. So don't forget. Okay. Also, those of for people who have lost, to depression and have committed, unaliving. Don't forget about them, man. Just victims of the SUI. It anyways. Don't forget about them, okay? Celebrate them, right? Celebrate them for who they were and how they lived. Um, not what they ultimately did. All right, guys. So, but a lot of people don't see the mental anguish that a lot of people that go through PTSD suffer from. Um, and it's very it's it's crushing, really, when people look at us like that, right? And again, it's not just veterans, it's just people who have experienced some of these traumatic events and just so happen to react in a specific way. But obviously, since I'm a veteran, I'm going to be speaking from the perspective of a veteran. And it's really heartbreaking when people look at you as if you're a monster, when you know that you're not a monster. Matter of fact, people are so willing to take things at face value when they see you at your worst, but they forget so quickly that there are other things that happen behind closed doors that you never see, right? And so, I love on my dog constantly. It's like every few minutes I'm scratching her head or I'm telling her she's, a dumb butt, giving her belly rubs and whatnot. Um, and I really hate how I react to certain situations, because it's just a reaction. Um, I think there was a situation last night, um, where the same dog that's attacked her, um, a couple of times, but really hasn't bothered at all to come anywhere near her because of how I treated that dog the second time she's attacked Sky, because I was not nice about it at all. I wasn't nice about it. Um, I made sure that dog knew that was not okay. I'll just put it that way. Um, and so the way that I reacted, right, was as soon as I saw the dog, I racked around because I after that incident, I always made sure I took my Glock outside with me when I took Sky outside, because I want to make sure that she's protected, because it's not just that dog that I was fearful of. groundhogs are around here and skunks are around here. Um, and I've even seen bears, roam around here in town, which I thought was kind of crazy. But I want to make sure my dog is good, and I understand. My dog, she can defend herself, but to a certain degree, right? And but what is she gonna do against a bear? Or someone trying to come and steal her? God forbid. You know, um, I wouldn't be able to. I would not be able to handle that. I know for a fact I wouldn't. I know I would lose every sense of reason within me. I know I would lose it. Um, but I try the best I can to stay level headed. It's not that I'm mentally unstable. It's not that I can't control myself. I can, and I think I do very well given the circumstances. Um, but uh, you know, a lot of the times you just react. And getting back to the story, that night, I racked around, and I was watching that dog very closely, very closely. Thankfully, the dog didn't really have any desire to step near Sky, and so that's great because again, I don't want to hurt. I don't want to hurt any other animals. I don't want to hurt anyone, but I will do what I have to. Uh, you know, I'm very protective um, over the things that I care about, and sometimes I can be overly protective. I understand that, but it's just it's just my nature now. You know, um, given how protective I had to be while I was in, that carries over to everything else actually. Um, and so when you're looking over your shoulder and you're always anticipating something, that anxiety doesn't really go away at all. I cannot have my back to open spaces. I cannot do it. That shit really freaks me out. Um, it's one thing if I'm in the gym and I'm working out, and still I'm looking over my shoulder. Um, it's another thing if I'm sitting at a restaurant or um, so, sitting doing something where all of my attention or most of my attention, right, isn't focused to what's in front of me. um and so how do how is it that you deal with these situations in the moment? And I always have to really pause, um and really collect myself in that moment, as hard as it is. When your breathing picks up, when your heart rate picks up, um you have to remind yourself that you are fine, you're okay, you have the means to protect yourself, right? Nothing is happening in the moment, and so you have to remember, take some deep breaths, calm down. A lot of some things that I like to practice is breathing in 5 seconds, holding 5 seconds, out 5 seconds. Practice that inhaling and exhaling so that your body can get used to um, a can slow that blood circulation down, um, to kind of slow that heart rate down too. Uh, Another thing that I noticed was that um, I was physically shaking everywhere else but my hands. My hands were the most steady of my body, and I thought that was weird to me. Um, but given my experience with firearms themselves, um, I can understand why they were steady. But sometimes Sometimes, breathing exercises might not work. All right. And so this is where getting into the mindset and telling yourself that you are okay, you are here in the moment. You're not revisiting something, right? You're not just um you're not taken back. You are here. You are here, right? Um and I know it's extremely hard to do that, especially when the only thing you see are these flashbacks. Um, and so, unfortunately, my flashbacks haven't been so severe. Um, but uh, I've always managed to understand that even in the moment that I am here, right? I am here as angry, as um, defensive as I may be, I'm still here and I can control here, right? A lot of the times, one of the reasons why we lose control is because we don't have it to begin with. And when we try to control it, the harder we try, the less control we have. Um, and so you have to let go of trying to control the situation so much. There are some things that you just cannot control. Um, but what you can control is yourself. And that's why I'm telling you in the moment, take a step back. Take a step back. Remind yourself of what you stand to lose, right? Should you lose yourself. Um, and then also remind yourself that you're fine. You're okay. You're not in this specific situation anymore. You're now in a different situation, a healthier environment, hopefully, and one where you can truly focus on healing. Um, I think that's what's really important is that we focus specifically on that. Um, And then we also focus on something that drives us forward to be better people, right? Whether it's research, whether it's, physical activities, working out. I tried to go and work out today. Unfortunately, I have been so stressed, because of bills that I don't really see that I can pay right now. Um, being turned down for jobs and really just feeling so isolated. Um, it I just didn't really have a good workout today, and I couldn't finish it. I wasn't in the right headspace to finish it. Um, and so I was a little bit of a fat ass. And I went and I got some Hispanic food, which was great. I got a burrito and some loaded nachos, supreme nachos, which is great. But um, I knew I shouldn't have done it, but I did it anyways. Comfort food, I guess you could say. Um, I think it helped though. I think it helped. Um, anyways, um, even if it's working out, or maybe it's comfort food in the moment, right? Don't make it so often, because you need to get fit if you need to get fit, or you need to worry about getting fit if you need to get fit, or staying fit, right? But one meal isn't really going to hurt you. um, or again, maybe craftsmanship. Maybe you like working with wood, maybe you like working with metal. um, it just depends, right? And so, find something that ultimately really brings you joy, something that can really calm you down when you need to calm down. Um, I found that to be an extremely viable help for me. And I think that would help you guys too. So just remember that. And also remember, again, I'll hit on this again. You are fine. You are okay. All right. Um, if you're not in a better environment to really focus on healing your PTSD, do everything that you can to get into a better environment. Um, the good thing about being isolated here in my home is that it's just me here, and I can focus on healing myself, and which is what I have been doing for the past several months. Um, I don't take medication anymore. I don't take medication. It has made me worse. Um, and so I don't recommend medication. But if you need medication, obviously, take it through the prescription of a licensed professional. But um, I just, as a veteran, talking to my other vets out there, I wouldn't recommend medication. And yeah, I can guarantee you there are other vets out there. I've had conversations with other vets that absolutely hate medication. They tried it, didn't work out well for them at all. And some have tried it and it has worked out good for them. And if that's the case, good. But I wouldn't recommend it. I think there are better ways, um, such as talking with, other veterans, right? Um, Not so much venting, right, but confiding, right, and trusting in, that brotherhood or sisterhood. Um, I think that's extremely important, right? So that's another practicality that you could use, especially in the moment, right? When something happens, you can call upon your boys. Hey, man, I am wired to the jaw, man. I need to calm down. A lot of the times that helps out a lot. That's exactly what happened when I was telling you about that firework incident when I was trying to take a nap. Um, and so just remember, um, above all else, that you there are things that you cannot control, right? And so you shouldn't try to control them. Um, because that's just going to send you further off the deep end. All right. So hopefully I was able to relate to you guys. Little bit vulnerable there too, but um, hopefully it's one that had a little bit of insight for you, and as well as people who don't struggle from PTSD, who can look inside the head of someone who does, and can understand just a little bit more on some of the things that we go through, and what we're actually like, and not what people perceive us to be. um, and so hopefully I was able to give you guys some good information, and also for my guys, vets or not, who also struggle from PTSD, hopefully I give you guys some good practical advice, um, and things to do, um, that would be able to calm you down and help ever so slightly even. um, Hopefully uh, these things do help you. And if you have any questions specifically, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to try and help out however I can. Um, but do remember that I am also going through my journey with PTSD, and I'm still healing, and I think I may be healing for a long time, right? Because these things, you don't just heal overnight, not at all. No, these things take maybe years, decades even. But you know, it's really just the staple of I don't want to say channel, the home turf here. Um, I'm still trying to figure this shit out, guys. You know, it's the whole point of this, of this house, this home here. Is to come together and figure it all out. Um, and so I want help from you guys just as much as you're looking for help from me. Um, and so I'm not some guru. I'm not some licensed professional. I'm just a regular dude, that's trying to help you guys out as much as possible. So um, if it did help you out, that's awesome. Even if it helped out one person, that's that's more than what I could ever ask for. And so I asked that you would support the channel. I asked that you guys would like, share, and subscribe, and all that stuff. Of course, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your experiences, um, and just so I can help out any way that I can. But also that YouTube really cares about this stuff. So if you guys want more people to get this information, then please share, please like, and engage with the videos as much as possible, because the algorithm really cares for that. The more comments you guys leave, the more likes you guys leave, and the more you share this, obviously, more people are going to see it, and hopefully more people um, can get help if I can help them, and if you guys can help them too, but you guys are the main force in this. I'm just a guy that talks in front of a camera. So, um, but thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for all that you're already doing. Um, thank you, thank you, thank you. I thank you. I really can't thank you guys enough. You guys have gotten me through some really tough shit, and I appreciate that. You know, um, so let's keep going, it, guys. Or let's keep doing it. Let's keep going. All right. Let's keep growing the family. Um, I've always wanted a big family, and so you know, I want a big family. All right. Um, thank you guys. I appreciate you for all that you do and all that you have been doing. Um, and I really want to see this home of ours blow up. And I really appreciate you guys being here. So thank you again. I can't thank you guys enough. That being said, guys, please take care of yourselves. Okay, please. If you gotta talk to somebody, go talk to somebody. Especially, a good group of men, right? For my boys out there, for a good group of men that you respect, go talk with them. Okay. Um, do not confide in your woman. Don't do that at all. It's not her job. And for my girls out there, go and confide in your lady friends. Um, uh, don't put that shit on your man if you have one, right? Um, and it's okay to go to your parents, guys. Don't be afraid to go to your parents. Um, obviously, they're not your therapist either, right? But they are older, and that is one of their job, or one of their jobs is to guide you throughout your life, and that doesn't slow down at all. So, if you need to talk to them, go talk to them. Um, that being said, again, if you just have to go talk to somebody, go talk to somebody. Don't play, big and bad. All right, don't do that, because you're playing with fire and you're gonna get burned. I did that for a long time, right, and it got me to some really dark places. Okay, so don't do that. Um, I'm facing my trauma now. That's why my mental health has been, you know, tanking, because I'm finally facing it, and I'm finally working on healing it. Um, and a lot of the times, it's most of the time, it's going to get worse before it gets better. But sometimes you gotta you really gotta truck through it. Really gotta truck through it. Really gotta push through. But yeah, push through. Talk to somebody, right? talk to yourself as well. Have some hard conversations with yourself, right? And really push through that stuff. Um, and also, like I was saying, go work out even when you don't feel like it, right? And just go try. Okay, just go try. Um, and uh, Make sure you're also looking after each other too. Okay, someone's having a rough time in the comment section, please lift them up. Also, even outside of the comment section, right? Um, help people out. Okay, help people out. So, um, I would greatly appreciate it if you would help. If you would help, the people out around you, right? Because community is something that has been lost in the state of this society today, and so you know, I really want to help to rebuild community. That needs to come back, and so I charge you guys to work on rebuilding it. But again, if just someone needs help them out. If someone's calling you 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, there might be a reason why they're calling. So just make sure you pick up. Make sure they're okay. That means a lot. I mean, it really means a lot. I know I've been on both sides of that. I know how much it means. So thanks guys for hearing me rant and hearing me ramble on. I know the first part of the video was, pretty, about me, but I was trying to relate to you guys, and hopefully I was able to do that. So thank you so much for listening to me. Again, I hope that by me relating to you and being as genuine and as authentic as I can be, um, because of my ranting. Hopefully, I was able to give you guys, some examples of how this can affect someone and whatnot, and how you can help it. But anyways, I'm rambling on again. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon.